A man out in Colorado came on one of our Guatemala pilgrimage. He had been a successful businessman. He retired at 60, and he was playing golf every day. And his wife told me, I think he's got Alzheimer's coming on. He's forgetful, he plays solitaire on the computer, and he's not even fun to talk to. So the two of them came on this work pilgrimage. We were digging trenches. It was nothing glamorous. It was hard physical labor. And I noticed he was a very good organizer and a cheerful traveler and a great asset on the trip. And told him so. When they got home, I heard this from his wife. When they got home, he got interested in a little environmental foundation, began doing some fundraising for them, and has now gone back to work for his son, running the service department in the company he used to run. Because he discovered that he really liked to work, but he didn't want to carry the responsibility of management. In gathering the stories that I used in the book, I heard over and over again, I want to feel useful, but I don't want to feel used. And, you know, as a guideline, that's not a bad one. To ask yourself, where can I feel useful without feeling used? What I'm talking about here is that call always benefits a wider community. Call is not for our own ego enhancement. It is always on behalf. Now, community can be your family. It doesn't have to be Washington, D.C., but it always benefits others. And so, if you're testing a call or think something might be call, you need to ask, is this beginning to impact others? Is it beginning to benefit the community around me? We live in a really individualistic culture. That's no news to any of you. And so for many of us, the first question is, where is my community? Who are my people? And where can my gifts be received? That often is a test of call. Where can what I have to offer be received? I think that's really much harder than identifying what I'm interested in. It's where can it be received? Because I think the gift of aging is the gift of knowing that we each carry a seed of call, and that it's an important discernment where to spend your energy and where to spend your time and where to spend your wealth, whether that's money or energy or whatever your wealth is. But that discernment is not going to come from our culture. It is not going to come from outside. The decision about where to spend your energy is yours, and it's something that only you can discern. I also think that's not age limited. My 91-year-old mother, some of you have heard this story before, but bear with me. My 91-year-old mother, when she moved into assisted living, was not very happy to be in one room with people on her wing that she didn't know very well. Fortunately, she had her wits about her, her body was giving out. And I used to talk to her every day on the telephone. And after she'd been there about 3 weeks, I said, Mom, what do you think your call is now? Now, you don't start asking that question at 91 if you've never raised the question before. But I've been talking about call for 30 years, and she knows that. So I said, Mom, what do you think your call is now? She paused. And then she said, you know, I think it's to bring something decent to the dinner table. The people here just complain about the food, and it spoils my dinner. So I listen to the Lair Hour, and I write one thing down on my tablet to bring to the dinner table, to change the conversation. I think that is a great call, because she knew that she could shift the conversation simply by her effort. It also gave her a sense of purpose in a very limited environment. And that too is part of call. If you know that you are valuable and needed and have the power to impact what's happening around you, it gives dignity to your life. And it makes you aware of being part of a larger story that's going on, a story of healing, a story of redemption, a story of reconciliation, God's story. So taking the time to let those buried gifts begin to send up little shoots is what the winter season of call is all about. Sometimes diminishment is physical, sometimes it's spatial, sometimes a forced change then requires something new. Many years ago, I was a professional potter. I had a studio down at the torpedo factory, and my husband got orders for Germany. I did not want to go. I had no interest in going to Germany for 2 years. And I got very depressed. We did move to Germany. I didn't have a green card. I couldn't make a living as a potter, and I began writing. And it turned out to be, and what I wrote over there was not worth reading. I pitched it out. But it was the beginning of nurturing a call to write that I didn't dream of, never prepared for, never thought of. It grew out of desperation. And so I think sometimes there is a forced change or a kind of diminishment, an economic change that demands something different. And it's really how we respond that can be that call, the way that call gets nurtured. Up to this point, we could keep this all internal, couldn't we? It can just run right around in your mind, and you can go through release and resistance and reclaiming and then do it again and again, and it just stays inside. It never manifests in the outward world. But there comes a time when you come to a crossing point when you've got to stand up and be counted. You open your mouth at the dinner table. You take an action in the world. It is the risk that takes us into the spring season, the spring of this call. This is creativity. This is the creative aging that I'm always looking for.